Salam Lanantehun. That means may peace be yours in Amharic, which is my first language and the national language of Ethiopia. It's how my parents and others in our community greet each other. And since I love the expression so much, I'm opening today's video with a wish for peace for you. And importantly, the nurse who threw mom out of the ER a little over a month ago, and it's been exactly a week since I posted my spoken open love letter to this nurse. And, I expected quite a few passionate responses from people who knew or know mom personally. But what I didn't expect was dozens of shares from people who knew her and didn't know her, hundreds of comments both online and offline across various platforms, as well as thousands of views combined across, again, all of the platforms where I placed her story. But I also started noticing something even more important to me than these numbers, which is saying a lot because I am a data nerd. And as you can see, data nerd got to work crunching the numbers. And beyond those numbers, it was the number of people who were crying with me and sharing my tears and saying, I felt this so deeply. And still others saying, hey, this happened to me too. Me too. And that really stopped me in my tracks. But that I can relate comment wasn't just about the patient's perspective, although trust and believe I had plenty of those. But I want to read you something someone wrote to me, which was good people, kind souls can become so overworked and stressed that they become dehumanized themselves, leading to painful experiences like that of your mom's. And I too have made poor decisions in the heat of the moment. And that really got me because sharing mom's story was never about villainizing that nurse or any healthcare worker for that matter, because so many of them are everyday heroes. Instead, it was about seeing what chronic stress can do to patients and clinicians alike. And this person went on to say to me, and I completely agree with her, we have to start caring enough to recognize symptoms of chronic work related stress and how it affects both the individual and the industry or public as a whole. And that last quote to me wasn't just about empathy, excuse me, it was about structural awareness. And, even more so, what moved me the most was the number of people saying something similar happened to me as a patient. And it wasn't just in one city, it wasn't just in one state, it was across the country because my community is so widespread. I'm really lucky that way. And here's where things get even more striking. At least half a dozen people in the area were asking me, hey, was this at X facility? Remember, I had chosen to keep those details private because my goal wasn't public shaming. And guess what? It was X facility. People were guessing correctly where mom had had this experience. And that tells me something super important. And it's that this is not an isolated story, it's a pattern. And patterns matter to anyone, but especially for yours truly, who was trained in epidemiology. So we really do not ignore patterns. And now I want to tell you something that someone said to me, which meant the world. It was, hey, I know some of the doctors from X facility personally, and I'm going to share your video directly with them. And I can kind of feel the goosebumps on my skin right now, because that means the video is one step closer, even closer to getting to the nurse. And another person said to me, hey, I'm at a gathering of local leaders and change agents in our area. I'm going to pass your story along to the representative of X facility. And this person goes on to say, and I quote directly, everyone plays a role in change, actions or not. And now I feel it's my turn to feel deeply moved and inspired because this is truly what advocacy looks like. It's not shouting, it's not shaming, it isn't blaming, it's not canceling. It's about moving these critical conversations into the spaces where change can start to take shape. One of the most meaningful responses that I got said, I really respect the maturity of your journey, which went from anger to sadness to fear and finally landed on love. That's the work, that's the real work. And it made me reflect that anger is so easy to feel. I am a perfect case in point for this. It's easy to tap into and respond out of, but love takes work. It's harder and it's quieter, and it's also so much more worthwhile. And as you can see, it moves people and systems differently. And one last thing I want to highlight that somebody recently asked me was, what is your personal mission statement? And that question changed something in me. For those who know me, I'm deeply introspective and analytical and emotional. So I got to reflecting and thinking and feeling quite deeply. And here's where I landed. It's really simple, and it's been true since I gained my sense of self early in life. It's to amplify really the voices of those who are voiceless. And now, at this point in my journey, it's also to connect compassion with accountability. And as one of my uncles recently brought a Jewish saying to my attention, thank you, Uncle. If I am not for myself, who will be for me? But if I am only for myself, then what am I? And so this work, again, is not about mom alone. It's about all of us. It's about all patients and all caregivers and all clinicians at every level, from the medical assistant to the specialist, from um, the nurse to the physician. And it's also about administrators at every level, from the receptionist that you see at intake all the way to the CEO. And most importantly, it's about what it means to partner with each other in molding systems into places where we all feel a little bit safer, a little bit healthier, and a little bit more seen, because we know real systems change can't happen overnight. And what I want to leave you with today is that that spoken love letter was never the beginning. It was actually just, it was never the end. It was actually just the beginning. And if your response is any indication, I'm not alone, mom is not alone, and really none of us are alone in this. I'm so grateful for your support and your solidarity. And I'd like to end with Salamat Chuibza, which means may your peace overflow, or may your peace be abundant.